Hello and welcome to Yorkshire Voice. I'm Sarah Dewars and this is the news at 4. West Yorkshire Police are appealing for information after a man was stabbed last night in Hyde Park, Leeds. The attacker escaped the scene by car. The victim was stabbed in the chest and was sent to hospital, but has since been discharged. Protests have taken place for the second day in a row outside Batley Grammar School. Crowds gathered outside the school to demonstrate against a teacher who showed his students an offensive image of the Prophet Muhammad. The teacher in question has since been suspended. Now, Education Secretary Gavin Williamson has weighed in. Williamson described the protest as completely unacceptable. Meanwhile, the head teacher of the school, Gary Kibble, has apologised for the incident. Protesters took to the streets of York last night as part of demonstrations across Britain against the policing and crime bill. Nearly 200 people turned up to highlight issues including violence against sex workers and people of marginalised genders. Kaya Gott reports.
Since Priti Patel submitted the paper for the Police, Crime, Sentencing and Courts Bill, people have been protesting around the country, including in locations like Leeds, York and Bristol. Last night, hundreds of people gathered in St Helens Square in York to protest and to highlight issues surrounding gendered violence and sex work.
They exist to protect their own, to protect the state, to protect private property, to protect white supremacist, patriarchal, capitalist systems of power.
The government recently made a statement after a popular petition went viral, including mentioning gendered violence. They said, "We are also focusing on tackling the underlying causes of serious violence. The work also includes specific action to tackle violence against women and girls." Although the protests in Leeds and York have been peaceful, some haven't, including the protests last weekend in Bristol.
As of Monday, Britons who cannot provide a good reason for going abroad could be fined up to £5,000, with rising infection rates across Europe prompting fears of a third wave of COVID reaching the UK. A debate has started about whether Britons can go on holiday to Europe this summer or not. Restrictions have heavily impacted both sides of the Channel, with Italian businesses and British workers in Europe both taking the brunt of quarantine regimes. Our Italian correspondent, Riccardo Trono, has more.
1 year since the first wave of coronavirus forced Italy to enter a 2-month national lockdown, the situation is not any better. The country is facing a third wave of coronavirus, and most of the regions, including Apulia and the southern sphere of the country, are facing the harshest set of restrictions, and seaside locations are eerily empty of international visitors once again. I asked the manager of several chains of hotels in the seaside what tourism means to our community, and what in particular international visitors might bring should restriction-free travel resume in time for the all-important summer season. A study has been released in Italy saying that if a restriction-free travel does resume this summer, around 52% of international visits will be recorded just in Italy. So what might it mean to our region?
I hope this study is correct, and we will be able to welcome the international travels before this summer, and this will be very important, not only for us, for the hotel, for the restaurants, so for the accommodation industry, but mostly it will be important for museums and all the activity related to art and culture.
Blanket travel restrictions have also impacted heavily on British people working in Europe. I've talked to Rob, a British teacher working in Palermo in Sicily, who said that despite the worries of a third wave sweeping across Europe, vaccinations and testing might be the key to unlocking travel on both sides of the channel in time for summer.
I think this summer the countries have more tests available, so I think they're going to make them mandatory unless you've had a vaccine or you've got antibodies. I recently saw the EU's proposal. We're not sure about what the UK is going to do yet, but I have a feeling it might follow suit in the coming months.
As soon as the Easter lockdown will end, in Italy, we hope that RC will soon be able to welcome back international tourists and wash away this dark cloud of COVID, which has been hovering over our lives for more than 1 year.
Thanks, Ricardo. And with international holidays still potentially a way off, many of us are turning to staycations here in the UK. Local staycation homeowners are expecting to see an increase in business over the coming summer. Lindsay Eastwood runs U-Time Holiday Barn near Skipton, and she is here with us in the studio. Hi, Lindsay. Now tell us, how do you think these latest restrictions are going to affect your business?
Well, I think certainly the travel ban and all the talk of vaccine passports, it has affected people's confidence. But from our point of view, we've been absolutely inundated with booking requests ever since the Prime Minister announced his roadmap out of lockdown. So I think people are desperately hoping that all the stages will sort of unlock on the dates that he has proposed. And they're just wanting to book. So we've got bookings sort of starting July, August, all through autumn and into winter. So we've got 10 confirmed bookings so far, and the barn isn't even open yet. We're still kind of putting the finishing touches to it. So there's no big advertising going on of the barn. There's no sort of photos on the internet. So I think people are just, really, really eager to get away and get away from their homes that they've been stuck in sort of for a year, really. But then I think there are some people also that are a bit nervous still that things might not happen when expected. So we have had inquiries for next year. So I took a call from somebody wanting to book for next February. And they said, yeah, we're just a bit nervous. We don't want to, we've sort of written off this year so far. But I think in general, yeah, definitely sort of holiday property owners are going to see a really good year this year.
Now, obviously, as we've seen today, to be honest, English weather is a bit temperamental. Do you think this has put people off at all, or are they just desperate?
I think they will go on holiday in this country, whatever the weather. I mean, we did have a lovely summer, didn't we, last year? So we're sort of praying that will go ahead. And I have a motto: there's no such thing as bad weather, just the wrong clothes. So I'm a farmer, so we're not bothered by the weather. But the Yorkshire Dales and lots of places in the UK have got amazing places to visit. There's lots to do. So staycations aren't necessarily a bad thing.
Well, great. Thank you so much for talking to us.
You're very welcome.
Leeds-based supermarket chain Asda has started a packaging ban to cut down on plastic waste. It has stopped giving out single-use plastic bags in an attempt to reduce pollution across all of its 630 stores in the UK. Shoppers will now have to bring their own bags or face a 30p charge. Kutsi Chinimbera reports.
Asda have recently issued a new nationwide packaging ban, which will affect all 630 stores across the UK. The British supermarket started the initiative to combat plastic pollution following the 9-store trial that was launched in September last year. The locations included some Yorkshire towns such as Harrogate, Killingbeck, and a few others. Keep a lookout to see if any of these changes occur in Asda stores near you.
Now over to Tom for the sport.
Thanks, Sarah. Leeds Rhinos will be hoping to get a first win of the season when they take on Wakefield Trinity this Sunday. The Rhinos will be playing in their first home game of the season, making a return to Emerald Henley Stadium for the debut match of their 2020-2021 Super League campaign. They've named a strong squad too, with all 3 summer signings, including King Vuniyayawa Wa, being available for the match this weekend. Leeds have not won a Super League since 2017 and will be hoping that this year will see a return to the club's golden era, which saw them become the most successful club in Super League history. The home side certainly have a historical advantage too, having won 40 of their 51 meetings between the two teams. They also currently possess a 78% win rate when playing at Headingley, which is most impressive. The beginning of the new season also marks the UK's latest lockdown changes, with outdoor sports facilities being able to reopen on March 29th. This change means that amateur sports training and fixtures will be allowed to resume, putting sports such as tennis, football and rugby back on the menu. That's all from me, Sarah.
Well, thanks very much, Tom. Gluten-free foods are on the rise, as it has been estimated that 8.5 million people in the UK have gone gluten-free. However, it is no secret that this kind of diet comes at a price. Our reporter, Chelsea Sewell, finds out more.
Gluten is found in grains such as wheat, barley and rye. These grains are the staple ingredient for foods such as bread and pasta, and popular junk foods like pizza and biscuits. This makes it hard for people with a gluten intolerance or celiac disease to eat a normal diet.
I've been having a lot of issues with my stomach, so I thought that I'd try something different with my diet to help me. At the beginning it was very difficult because it was an elimination diet, so I had to stop most things and I had to eat things like bone broth to repair my bowel, which was really not very nice at all. But once that elimination diet had finished, it was easier. Once you get used to eating in a different way.
A study in 2019 found that 19% of new food products in supermarkets were part of a free-from range.
Parts of Tesco's and things like that. I've got some snack foods that I enjoy, but I limit them. It is a lot more expensive, which would be hard for people on a budget. Things like a loaf of bread is nearly £3 for a small loaf. I don't think it's fair because it is a lot more money for people, and there is people that can't afford to pay that sort of money for food, especially if they've got a family of gluten-free, which we have found in our family since that other members also have bloating, etc.
A UK study found that gluten-free alternatives were 159% more expensive than conventional brands.
Ilkley has been named the best place to live in the North and North East. The Sunday Times listed the 10 best places to live in the region, and Ilkley was top of the list. The paper's editor, Helen Davies, described the Yorkshire town as having a beating heart, a business brain, culture, and a good sense of humour. Other places in Yorkshire mentioned include Leeds, York, and Massam. Now, over lockdown, we've seen a range of trends emerge. One trend you're probably aware of is wild swimming. With indoor pools shut, lots of people have been taking the plunge in Yorkshire's lakes and rivers. However, as well as having many health benefits for those involved, the craze could also be having a positive impact on local habitats and wildlife.
I'm here at a popular swimming spot in South Leeds. It's a spot that regularly attracts groups of people who connect on Facebook, then come here and meet up for a swim.
Wild swimming is thought to have a huge range of benefits. It is said to improve circulation, reduce inflammation, manage anxiety and stress, and release endorphins. Further to this, our increased appreciation of the outdoors may also be good news for our rivers. Just north of here, a river in Ilkley became the first to be granted official bathing status. It means that from 2021, the Environment Agency will be required to test the water regularly during the year to determine levels of pollution and keep them in check. Campaigners hope this will be beneficial for both the natural habitats and the swimmers.
I suppose I started wild swimming when I was a teenager, but then hadn't wild swum in Leeds for quite a long time, up until the last lockdown really, when a couple of my friends and I started going swimming in Ilkley and in various places along the wharf. I suppose partly with more limited options of things to do, people are just being a bit more creative, and rather than just going to the normal pool or cinemas or things, we're actually forced to get outside, and people have come to appreciate the outside so much more during lockdown. Not only our green spaces, but our blue spaces, which has been really lovely to see.
It's a trend that doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. So I think it's about time I found out what all the fuss is about. Well, it was certainly exhilarating. I can see why people love it so much. Hopefully more people spending more time outdoors in nature can only mean good things for the environment.
She's certainly braver than I am. Well, let's find out if it will be wild swimming weather this weekend. Here's Cora with the forecast.
Thank you, Sarah. After a bright start to this morning, temperatures ranging from highs of 10 degrees to lows of 1 degree, maintaining wet and windy throughout the day. Occasionally coming in heavy falls, pushing across the region. Tonight's weather, windy with further showers merging into longer spells of rain. Showers turning wintry Expect frost and icy stretches, minimum temperature of -3 degrees. That's all from me. Back to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Cora. Finally, don't forget to put your clocks forward this weekend. We'll be moving to British summertime at 1 a.m. on Sunday, so we'll lose an hour's sleep. And that's all from us today. You can follow the latest news on Twitter at YorkshireV, or you can email us at yorkshirevoiceltu@gmail.com. Thanks for watching and have a very good weekend.